Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as we begin our next session.
الحضور الكريم ندعوكم للجلوس لحضور جلستنا التالية. هذه الجلسة بعنوان تكريم الفائزين
titled Honoring the awardees of the Mohammed bin Maktoum Knowledge Award for 2024.
Our third session is titled Honoring the winners of the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Award 2024. The session will honor the esteemed recipients of the prestigious MBRKA Award 2024.
والفائزون هم الدكتور أحمد عيد ثاني المهيري عالم الفيزياء الإماراتي والباحث المتخصص في الفيزياء النظرية.
The winners are Dr. Ahmed Eid Al-Maheri, an Emirati physicist and researcher specializing in theoretical physics.
الدكتور أندرو يانتاك عالم الكمبيوتر ورائد الذكاء الاصطناعي.
Dr. Andrew Yantak, a computer scientist and an entrepreneur focusing on artificial intelligence.
الدكتور ديفيد كلارك البروفيسور الفخري في علم النفس التجريبي.
Dr. David Clark, Emeritus Professor of Experimental Psychology.
الدكتورة أنكي إيلرز أستاذة علم الأمراض النفسية التجريبية.
Dr. Ank Ellers, Professor of Experimental Psychopathology.
وتدير الجلسة سالي موسى مقدمة البرامج والمتحدثة الدولية.
The session will be moderated by Sally Musa. Please welcome on stage.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this special session where we get to meet the remarkable visionaries and innovators shaping the future of our world, the winners of the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Award for 2024. As we stand at this critical moment in history, where knowledge and the way that it is created, disseminated, and is being used is being radically redefined, the Knowledge Summit and the Mohammed bin Rashid Knowledge Award brings together the very best minds at the forefront of addressing the greatest challenges of our time. And today, as we celebrate the 2024 Knowledge Award winners, their incredible contributions encompass diverse backgrounds and fields with achievements that reflect the limitless potential of human ingenuity. It is now time to meet each of our extraordinary honorees. Ladies and gentlemen, the first of our 4 winners is someone who is lovingly referred to as Al-Walid, the father, someone who has witnessed and shaped some of the most transformational moments in this country's remarkable journey. Born in 1930, His Excellency Jamal Majid is an Emirati businessman, political advisor and philanthropist, and is the founder and chairman of Jamal Majid Holding Group. A visionary cultural pioneer, His Excellency founded the Jamal Majid Center for Culture and Heritage, a landmark institution dedicated to the preservation, restoration, and dissemination of global intellectual heritage. The centre, with its vast library, meticulously curated archives, and dynamic research and publication facilities, has become a sanctuary for scholars, researchers, and thinkers from around the world. His passion for safeguarding manuscripts, rare books, and historical documents has preserved countless works that would otherwise have been lost to time, ensuring that the wisdom of past generations remains accessible to inspire the future. It's incredible to think that His Excellency's father was one of the last of the generations of pearl divers of this country. And at the age of 9 and 10 years old, he used to accompany his father on these pearl diving expeditions. So you can imagine the incredible treasure trove of history and experiences that he has seen in his lifetime and is preserving now with his centre as well. Through his life's work, His Excellency Juma al-Majid has not only preserved the past, but has also sown the seeds for a brighter intellectual future, reminding us all of the timeless power of knowledge as a foundation for progress and unity. Amongst his achievements, His Excellency's innovative methods in manuscript restoration have gained international recognition, bridging tradition and technology to protect cultural artifacts. And his commitment to fostering cross-cultural understanding is evident in the Centre's collaborations with global institutions, promoting dialogue and the universal values of knowledge. His Excellency Juma al-Majid could not be with us today. However, I would love for you all to join me in honouring and congratulating him on this momentous achievement. And so now, for our first winner who will be speaking to you on the stage, the next winner is a man who is known as one of the most influential pioneers in artificial intelligence and technology. In 2023, he was named to the Time 100 AI list of the most influential people in the world in AI. Astonishingly, over 8 million people have taken a course on AI with him. Just think about that for a second. That's 1 in every 1,000 people on the planet. Dr. Andrew Ng is the chairman and co-founder of Coursera, founder of Deep Learning AI, managing general partner at AI Fund, executive chairman of Landing AI, and adjunct professor at Stanford University. And he was, of course, a co-founder and head of Google Brain, which allowed Google to become one of the world's foremost companies in AI. You've heard a little bit from him already, but it's now time to give the stage back over to Dr. Andrew Ng.
Thank you. I was deeply honored to be selected for this award. I think as all of us know that knowledge is the foundation of a lot of human prosperity that is to come. And in fact, with the transformations that are going on around the world, I spoke earlier about AI, but also other massive forces transforming society, including complex geopolitics, the rising needs to ensure that human rights are respected all around the world. I feel like unless we have a solid basis of knowledge, as well as the ability to help people gain that knowledge to make good decisions for themselves, for their families, and their communities, I think the world will not live up to its full potential. And over the last few years, AI has been an accelerator. We're already seeing that AI can behave with some semblance of many types of intelligence that previously only humans could exhibit. And I think that accelerates the need to make sure that we empower people to learn new skills, to have new knowledge, so that people can always take control of AI and guide it to serve our needs. I know that in today's world, there are some people that are scared of AI. There is a narrative of, will AI take over? To everyone that is worried, I say, go learn about it, learn to code and take control of it so that you could use it to serve your needs. In fact, as AI skills and AI knowledge continues to grow, so must human skills and human knowledge. I think both are very important, and it's only by making sure that every individual has the opportunity to upskill, self-knowledge, that humans will be empowered to then command an army of AI. You know, in today's world, one of the most expensive things is intelligence. In many parts of society, you have to be relatively wealthy in order to be able to hire that specialist doctor to gently coach you on if there's a medical need that you have, or to hire a personalized tutor to teach your children the things they need. With AI, we have the potential to make artificial intelligence cheap, and I hope that this means that smart, wise, knowledgeable humans, every one of them, will be able to have access to an army of smart, well-informed, highly trained staff to do many things for each one of us that previously only the wealthiest among us had access to. I feel like on this journey, I've been privileged to play a small role with Coursera that got started off my machine learning course with many people, including my co-founder Daphne Collar, our CEO Jeff Margin-Calder, many others that have worked to build Coursera up to serve the global community of learners. And on the AI side, I feel like I've been privileged to work with many PhD students at Stanford, Sebastian Thrun, and many others that I recruited, many people that I recruited onto the Google Brain team to help Google grow in AI. And at Baidu, when I guess Robin Lee had faith in me and asked me to build up AI, and most recently AI Fund, many people from NEA, Sequoia Capital, and many others that had faith in me to give me resources to build up and innovate in AI. I see so many opportunities ahead to keep growing knowledge, to support artificial intelligence, artificial knowledge, as well as human intelligence and human knowledge. So I'm honored by this award and also very grateful for the many people that have helped me along the way on this mission of helping people and growing AI to also help people. So thank you all very much, and thank you again for the honor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew. You've spoken quite a bit today about AI. We've really put you to work, but I think, and this will be a question for everybody here on the stage, but in terms of what it is that inspired you in the first place, how did you get here? What inspired you about AI and these emerging technologies that made you think, this is something that is going to be big? It fascinates me. What was that?
So my initial, should I use this? So my initial inspiration, can you hear me? This?
Try the...
Well, I can also use this.
Let's try the hand mic.
Yeah. So my initial foray into AI was, I was a teenager where I have a job as an office admin, and I just remember doing a lot of photocopying. And the highlight of my job was getting to use the shredder with a powerful shredder that could shred a huge stack of papers at the same time. That was a highlight. But even as a teenager, I remember thinking, boy, all this photocopying is so boring. I wish I had something that could automate this for me so I could work on something else more exciting. And maybe motivated by that, for most of my career, I've been fascinated by automation, and AI has been automation on steroids.
You know, we've spoken a lot about this technology, but what would you say is the most important development that we will be seeing in AI that we are not talking about?
I think that there's so much going on in AI. I think we're already talking about agentic AI. I think one thing that we're not yet talking about is the number of people learning to code and how much easier it is becoming. Today, once upon a time, society wondered if everyone should be literate. Maybe you don't need to learn to read and write. We can all just go to the holy building and listen to the religious leaders read or tell us what we need to know. Fortunately, society has realized that with widespread human literacy, everyone is much better off. I think today we are still in that era where only a small group of people can code, and we rely on a small number of these high priests and priestesses of coding to write the code for everyone to use. But with AI as a coding companion and also improved tools, I'm seeing many people enjoy this deepest way of communicating with computers, because computers are becoming so powerful that in the future, the ability to tell a computer exactly what you want it to do so that it can serve you better, that'll be a critical skill for everyone. And so I look forward to that future where, just like today, it's no longer controversial that people should learn Arabic or English or some other language. I think in the future, we will realize that everyone should learn Python or TypeScript or some other computer language as well.
You talk about how powerful AI is going to become, and we've heard so much about that. It is so interesting. The other day, I was watching two people on a podcast and realized that it was actually AI. Somebody had just input a little bit of information, two presenters appear, and there you are. There's a podcast, there's a presenter, and for me, I'm looking at Sophia and going, she's going to be taking my job soon. So the question kind of is, what is going to happen in terms of what we think we're good at, what we are creating, how we define ourselves? You know, we often, when you meet someone, they ask you, what do you do? And it's kind of like that sense of self, of who are you? You know, for somebody who's an artist, and now AI can do what they do, but for much cheaper and much faster. What does that mean for that person? Who do we need to become in this new future?
You know, when we do a task-based analysis of jobs, it turns out that many jobs, maybe 20-30% could be automated by AI. And what this means is for most jobs, someone that uses AI will be much more effective than someone that doesn't. I know there's a fear of AI replacing people, but to paraphrase a friend of mine, Kurt Langlaws at Stanford, I think for the most part, AI won't replace people, but people that use AI will replace people that don't. Having said this, there's a small fraction of jobs where it's not 20-30% that AI can automate. There is a small fraction of jobs where AI can automate closer to 100%. And I don't mean to minimize the suffering or the transformation or the difficulties that that small fraction of people whose jobs will undergo. I think fortunately that's a smaller fraction that maybe is widely appreciated. And I think as a society, even as we create tremendous wealth using AI, we do have an obligation to make sure that this small fraction whose livelihood are affected much closer to 100% have a safety net and can learn these skills and continue to contribute to society. And for most of us, I think, imagine if AI can give you 5 or 10 or 100 highly skilled interns. I'll still do my job, but with 10 very inexpensive working interns to do lots of tasks for me. Hopefully we can all be more productive and do the more fun parts of the job, while the less fun parts like the photocopying, let's give that to our AI intern to do in the future.
Speaking of those who are young, my daughter has just started university at Stanford, and I'm thinking of those who are in her generation and those coming up after. It feels like technology is moving so much faster than what they are studying. What is your advice to those who are coming up, and even those that we've just been talking about who maybe need to reskill and relearn to be able to take advantage of this technological revolution?
Yeah, I think lifelong learning has to become a permanent part of society. Previously, if someone had a job as a farmer and maybe tractors came along to automate that, you could have your old job until you retire, and then your children had to learn a different task, but you didn't have to. But the pace of change means that jobs will change within our lifetimes, and we can't really do the exact same job and only have our children rather than we ourselves learn a different trade. So I think technology is the underlying force that drives a lot of societal change, and this does create pressure for humans to be lifelong learners and keep on learning new skills to keep up. And so I think for your daughter and many of our children, I would say it's worthwhile learning to code. And then also beyond that, cultivating the skill of being a lifelong learner seems critical now for creating a foundation for all of us to do the best work we can for ourselves and our families and our communities.
Dr. Andrew Ng, thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Dr. Andrew. And so now our next winner is a leader at the forefront of the interface of quantum information and quantum gravity. Dr. Ahmed Eid Khamis Thani Al-Maheri is a theoretical physicist and assistant professor of physics at NYU Abu Dhabi. And his groundbreaking research has transformed our understanding of the universe at its most fundamental level, unlocking new dimensions of knowledge in quantum mechanics and its profound implications for humanity. As a mentor and advocate for innovation, he has inspired a new generation of scientists and thinkers to pursue high-quality scientific research in studying the interface of quantum information and quantum gravity. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Dr. Ahmed Al-Maheri.
Thank you, Sally, for that very generous introduction. So to begin, I will begin my speech in Arabic, if that's okay. يسعدني ويشرفني إن يكون معكم.
It's my pleasure and honor to be with you here, and I would like to express my deep thanks to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, may God and Allah protect him, the supporter of knowledge and science, for this honoring that I am so proud of.
It's a great honor and privilege to receive the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Award for my contributions to science and human knowledge. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to His Highness for honoring me with an award bearing his name, and also to thank the Knowledge Foundation Selection Committee for nominating me. I would also like to thank everybody or everyone that has supported me throughout my journey that has brought me here today. From my parents, my wife, my family, to my teachers and mentors. I should also give special thanks to the Scholarships Office from the Presidential Court for their support throughout my postgraduate education, and especially the chairman of the court himself, His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed, for his special attention and care. So I am here today because I've been fortunate to make some contributions in advancing our knowledge within the realm of physics. Physics is the pursuit towards understanding the universe. Physicists build descriptions of the universe using the language of mathematics, and then proceed to verify or discard them based on experimental observations. Over the past century, physics has been the main driver of technological innovation. Quantum mechanics is perhaps the best example of this, giving us the transistor, the integrated circuit, leading to the development of all of modern technology. It was only through our understanding of the universe could we develop the power to manipulate it in ways that have not been done before, unlocking benefits and applications we didn't initially imagine. We are all well aware of the international race towards building a quantum computer, which people expect to be a major disruptive technology on the horizon. Generally, I believe that the best is yet to come. Now, despite the enormous utility of physics, these applications are actually not the main driver of discovery. The main driver, of course, is curiosity. Einstein, Bohr, Curie, Schrödinger, Heisenberg, and many others that contributed to our understanding that contributed to the development of quantum mechanics were driven by their curiosity about the structure of atoms and probably had no idea if their work would be useful for anything. I should say that you might wonder what is driving this curiosity. Well, most people don't realize that the universe is a lot more confusing and mysterious than you might think. And it often works in very counterintuitive and surprising ways. This is what drives me to do physics. I am a theoretical physicist. I work towards understanding the universe at the most fundamental level. I think less about matter and particles, but more about the laws governing space-time itself. I work at the interface between quantum mechanics and gravity, trying to reconcile Einstein's theory of general relativity and quantum mechanics. As such, I tend to focus on areas where the clash between these two theories is at its strongest. And that happens to be inside of black holes. Over 50 years ago, Stephen Hawking discovered that black holes evaporate. They gradually release their energy by emitting radiation into the space around them. Eventually, they disappear. And with them disappears everything that they've consumed throughout their lifetime. According to Stephen Hawking's calculations, the radiation left behind bears no information about the contents of the black hole. So any information that you throw inside of a black hole eventually gets deleted from our universe. However, this actually goes against one of the pillars of quantum mechanics, namely that information cannot be deleted. And this is Stephen Hawking's famous black hole information paradox. This paradox has been the main driver of my research for the past 15 years. It is a critical question because the validity of quantum mechanics is at stake. If quantum mechanics is wrong, then I'm sure many people, a lot of people here, might want to know that. Maybe you might, based on that, you might decide whether you should invest in quantum computers or not. It's interesting that black hole physics can provide insight into such practical questions. Well, long story short, my work and that of my collaborators and colleagues has been to show that quantum mechanics is actually safe. We showed that in order to accommodate quantum mechanics, space-time ends up bending over backwards in order to abide by quantum mechanical rules, generating wormholes connecting faraway regions of space. And these weird effects are something that was missed in Hawking's original calculation. These wormholes, we argued, are responsible for preserving and recovering the information from evaporated black holes. As you might imagine, as we were making these discoveries, it was extremely exciting. There's nothing quite like the thrill of discovery, the excitement of having contributed new knowledge, of being the only person to know something that nobody else knows. Sometimes discoveries happen spontaneously. Things just click, like an inspiration that comes from without. And I'm sure as my fellow recipients would agree with, that this experience is common to all of science, and it's what keeps us all going. I should emphasize, however, that most of the time doing science is not this. There's a lot of drudgery and hard work, of constantly being wrong and learning new things, interspersed with these euphoric moments of discovery. Therefore, successful scientists tend to share certain qualities that keep them driven. Important qualities such as perseverance and grit, the readiness to be wrong and to try and try again, all of which has to be fueled by passion. If you don't have passion, your science won't go anywhere. Another quality is to have the belief that your unique perspective is worth sharing. Now, nothing cultivates these qualities more than being around like-minded scientists working towards a common goal. I've been fortunate to spend time with a lot of such smart people at some of the top institutions across the globe. I spent 6 years at the University of California in Santa Barbara at the Kavli Institute for Theoretical Physics, 3 years at Stanford, and 5 years at the Institute for Advanced Study. At those institutions, I was immersed in an ecosystem perfectly tailored for research and collaboration and cultivating curiosity and innovation. These institutions have 3 important qualities that make them successful. They have the talent, the researchers doing the research. They have the strong administrative support for running scientific activities and keeping everything smooth. And also, importantly, the patronage and financial security. All these elements are crucial, which is why I think of science as a communal effort. We are all in this together. To those that support our research, I say, our discoveries are your discoveries. Which is why I am extremely happy by events like this. I've been in the I've been back now just a few months, and day by day, I'm seeing more and more promising signs of support from the government of the UAE in having events like this, supporting scientists and giving them the encouragement to go farther and farther. The last thing I wanted to say is an announcement. So with the support of the Scholarships Office from the Presidential Court and NYU Abu Dhabi, I am organizing a conference. I'm organizing one of the most important conferences in theoretical physics at NYU Abu Dhabi. This is a conference that every year happens in a different city, and in 2025, it will happen in Abu Dhabi, and will be hosted at the university. There will be several public talks discussing the latest discoveries in theoretical physics, and I hope to see some of you there. Finally, I close by thanking everyone here, by thanking His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid for the support and for the Knowledge Award, and also for the Mohammed bin Rashid Knowledge Foundation, and for having me here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, and the passion is definitely there. We can hear it in your voice when you speak. I want to ask you a couple of questions around quantum physics, and let me tell you something. You are not the first quantum physicist that I have interviewed. I've thought about and I've tried to talk to the experts about this before. It is such a huge topic. It is incredible and almost too big to fathom sometimes. So tell us, in your words, what you would see as the transformative potential for quantum information for human knowledge and understanding.
Thank you, Sally. That's a great question. So with quantum physics, we are understanding more and more about the structure of the universe. With more understanding, the more power we have over the universe. We can, with that, and for example, currently people are very interested in the concept of a quantum computer. You might ask, what would be the benefit of that? The potential for quantum computers is huge because it is a way, well, at least for a scientist, the most interesting thing I find about it is that it can help us simulate quantum mechanical systems. The universe is quantum mechanical, and there are various problems that are important, let's say, in quantum chemistry that might lead to development of drugs and medicine and things like that, which we can't quite solve by just pen and paper or with the standard classical computers. The time it takes to solve these problems is very, very large. But with a quantum computer, that gives us it will be much faster, and it will be a window towards solving these complicated problems with the implications that I mentioned.
You touched a little bit on that there, but in terms of what role you see quantum technologies playing in shaping the future of global innovation and problem solving, what are some of the biggest problems that we can really tackle with this?
Well, so as you said, so part of this was this example of quantum chemistry that I gave. The thing is about, it's hard to predict the future, let me say that. And the problems that quantum computers promise to give us, well, faster computers. So, and I can only imagine the ingenious ways people can come up with once they have such a machine. I feel like that's the only answer I can give you.
Like you say, it is so much more mysterious and so much bigger than we can imagine as well. What would be, from what you know, the most surprising aspect of the quantum physics and a quantum-powered future that we may not realize?
So again, a future question. The thing, what I would say is, I mean, I don't know, but as I said in my speech, the best is yet to come, and I bet that we will not see it coming. Yeah, that's all I can say.
I think it has to do as well with us embracing these technologies. What would you say are some of the things that your advice to those who are coming up in the science fields right now, what do they need to be ready for to take on these challenges?
Well, my advice for the new generation coming into science is you need to make sure you find something you have passion for. Yeah. Because without passion, you're not going to get anywhere. And, you know, yes, I'm a quantum physicist, and I want everybody to do quantum physics, but you need to find what you're good at, what skills, well, what you're good at and what excites you, and know that the possibilities in science are endless, and the problems that you will tackle once you have finished your education will be very different from the problems that we are studying now. It's an evolving, dynamical field, and so you should be dynamic as well. Adjust as you go and explore all the possibilities.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed Al-Maheri. Congratulations on all of your incredible achievements. And as you say, the best is yet to come. We are so excited to see where your work takes you next. Ladies and gentlemen, thank Dr. Ahmed Al-Maheri. Thank you. And so now onto our final joint winners for the Mohammed bin Rashid Knowledge Award. We have the extraordinary honor of celebrating two visionaries whose groundbreaking contributions to mental health have transformed countless lives across the globe. Dr. David M. Clark and Dr. Anke Ellers of the University of Oxford Medical Sciences Division have redefined how we understand and treat some of the most pervasive mental health challenges of our time: severe anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, amongst others. And their pioneering work has not only advanced our scientific understanding of these conditions, but also translated into practical, scalable treatments that have been implemented across nations. And through innovative experimental and clinical studies, they've developed evidence-based methods that empower healthcare systems to reach millions, setting a new standard in mental health care. But I'm going to let them tell you more about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. David Clark and Dr. Anke Ellers.
Well, we're very grateful to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed and to the Knowledge Foundation for the honor of the Knowledge Award, and it's such a pleasure to be visiting Dubai. We'd like to take you through some of the work we've been doing in mental health. So roughly 1 in 6 people experience a mental health problem at any one time, and that can severely interfere with your personal, work, and family life. It is also very costly to our societies. The World Health Organization estimates that each of our economies shrink by about 4 percentage points due to untreated anxiety and depression. So what we need is better, and that means more effective, treatments, and also make them widely available to our populations. So our contributions have been in those 2 areas. We have developed new, more effective psychological treatments for 3 severe mental health problems: post-traumatic stress disorder, where people are haunted by memories of traumatic events that have happened to them in the past; panic disorder, where people have sudden, intense experiences of panic attacks; and social anxiety disorder, where people have enormous difficulty socially interacting with other people. We've also increased the reach of these treatments by developing internet versions of the treatment that can get to many more people because they involve less therapist time. And we have also started to develop in some nations cost-effective, large-scale therapy services. But of course, in the spirit of the Knowledge Award, we're very keen to pass all the learning on to other people, and we have a knowledge framework for doing that to help the next generation. So, firstly, developing new psychological therapies. Our Oxford team has a particular strategy for doing that. Whatever mental health problem we're focusing on, we want to identify what are the key psychological abnormalities that are keeping it going. In anxiety, the problem is people having distorted beliefs about how dangerous certain situations are. So we explore their beliefs and also look at how those beliefs change what they pay attention to, what they retrieve from memory, and how it influences their behavior. Now, some people with anxiety problems will recover without any treatment. So we focus on those people in whom natural recovery doesn't happen, that they get stuck. And we develop theories of the maintenance of the mental health problem. We test those theories in the laboratory with very rigorous experiments, and then we develop treatments that focus very tightly on the mechanisms we've identified and see whether they're effective in clinical trials. We call the therapies cognitive therapies because they focus on changing people's distorted beliefs. And the work has been very successful. The Oxford cognitive therapies for panic disorder, for social anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder have all been shown to be more effective than multiple other psychological interventions and also multiple other forms of medication. In rigorous clinical trials in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in Japan, in the Netherlands, in Norway, and in Sweden.
So developing successful treatments is the first step to make these treatments then available to more people. And there is a problem with the traditional approach to delivering psychological therapies in that they rely on face-to-face sessions, usually weekly sessions over several months with a trained therapist. This is not scalable globally, so we have worked to find a way to delivering the treatments in a more efficient way through internet delivery. And we have, for the post-traumatic stress disorder and the social anxiety disorder treatment, we have brought all the treatment procedures into the internet with multimedia rich modules, and these are very personalized individual treatments. For the patient, it has the advantage that the patient can access the treatment anywhere at any time when they have time to work on it. For the delivery of treatment, it has the advantage of being briefer than the treatment delivered in person. And what we have found in our research studies, clinical trials, is that the outcomes are at least as good as face-to-face therapy. So the internet treatment is not second best. And so far, we have also not found any reduction in the effectiveness of these treatments when they are delivered by routine clinicians in routine services. So it translates into the real world of clinical services and also in other cultures. So to show you, illustrate the effects of these treatments, we have two graphs here. The first one is from the social anxiety treatment, and what is plotted here is the benefit of each hour of therapy, so how much improvement every hour of therapy brings. The blue line is the face-to-face therapy, and you see a very large improvement, as you see, but then if you look at the orange line, that's the internet treatment, you see that for much less therapy time, so of course it's about a third, you get the same amount of improvement. The second graph on the right is from a result from one of our internet therapy for PTSD studies. The red line here represents the cognitive therapy condition, and you see that it is more effective, similar to the results for face-to-face therapy, it's more effective than a very comprehensive generic cognitive behavior program. And I also like to point out that the effects don't stop at the end of treatment. People don't relapse, and the effects are maintained. So there's long-term benefit, both in symptoms, but also large benefits in people's quality of life.
So, internet treatments certainly allow us to reach more people, but many patients would also like conventional face-to-face therapy. So it's important to generate large-scale psychological therapy services that can deliver both. And in England, we've been working on that, creating what's called the Improving Access to Psychological Therapies, or IAPT program. This is a public promise to give everyone who's seen in the service an evidence-based psychological therapy, delivered by people who are properly trained in that therapy, and quite uniquely to record the clinical outcomes of everyone who has a course of therapy and to publish that data on the internet So you could all look at the outcomes of every single one of these services on your mobile phone now. And that exercise in public transparency about treatment of mental health is also used to drive innovation, because we have a large data set, 8 million people treated in this service so far, which we can use to refine the treatment delivery. Funding for this program from the government in the UK was based on sound economic arguments as well as clinical arguments, and outlined in our book Thrive with the economist Richard Layard. Basically, the argument was that the initiative will cost nothing to the state, because if you're effective in treating mental health problems, then you save more money in other healthcare costs, and you also help grow your economy by getting people back into work and being more productive. So the program started in 2009, and we're now treating about 670,000 people every year. And we had the ambition that if we did things well, we would get 50% of people to fully recover from their anxiety and depression, and about 70% of people to show marked improvements. And so the 50% recovery is the red line there on the graph. And you can see at the beginning, although we set up the program well and we had good training courses, we weren't actually achieving our target. But because we were collecting data on everyone, we discovered that some services were achieving their targets, others weren't, and we learnt from the differences between the services, fed that information back into the system, and as you can see, for the last nearly decade, we've been at that target in terms of recovery. As a scientist, the review I liked most was an editorial in Nature, which described this program as world-beating. Of course, when you've got lots of data, you can spot things that you want to change. And one of the things we spotted in 2015 is that we got different outcomes for different ethnic communities within the UK population. So we were getting better clinical outcomes for the white population than the black or Asian populations. That is not okay. But we discovered that in some areas we were doing very well with those minority populations. We learned what those areas were doing and fed it back into the system, so that by 2022 we have no difference in outcomes between the white and black population. Both of them are doing much better, and the Asian population has also risen enormously as well. What about that argument, though, that it will cost the state nothing to do this? Has our evidence supported that? Well, it has. We've been able to show that if you're treated in the IAPS services, you have lower hospital costs over the next several years for physical illness, and quite dramatically, you are less likely in the next 3 years to have adverse cardiovascular events, such as strokes and heart attacks. And indeed, over the next 8 years, you're less likely to develop a diagnosis of dementia. So there's a very strong mind-body connection here. Well, we're very pleased to say that this work has been taken up in many other countries. Norway, Ontario, Australia, Finland, and Spain are all developing their own versions of the IAP program, and the book on it has been translated in multiple languages. And this is a knowledge-growing community that are learning together. And one of the things that we've been able to spot in the other countries is good evidence for the argument that well-delivered psychological treatments grow your economy. And the nice example of that is here in this graph, a randomized controlled trial in Spain comparing in the blue line treatment, normal standard medical treatments in primary care, and in the orange line, treatment in the Spanish IAPS service. And what we're looking at here is the proportion of patients whose income is over 24,000 euros. And you can see that if you're treated in standard treatment and you're followed up for the next year, your income does not improve. However, if you're treated with a psychological therapy service, dramatic improvements in people's incomes. So, of course, we're growing the economy by effectively treating mental health problems. So that really brings us to a very key point for this conference, which is helping grow the next generation of therapists and psychotherapy researchers. So we essentially give away everything we've learned on a free website, and it's being used in 176 different countries at the moment. So we're very delighted in that. And I'd like to wind up by saying that in an award like this, it's not just the people who get the award that do the work. Here are some of our leading contributors over the years. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. Doctors Clark and Ellis, thank you and congratulations on your incredible and groundbreaking work. We do need to break for lunch. So I have one very quick question for the two of you, even though there's so much to discuss around this. But for you, having won this award now, what are the most important gaps in the knowledge that you are going to be able to address using this prize?
Well, I think the key thing is to keep on pushing the boundary in terms of the success rates of the treatments. And we find that the way to do that is to get into people's heads and see the way they perceive the world and try and spot something different that other people haven't spotted before, which we then target in therapy. And that's an ongoing exercise. We've been using it over the years, and we'll keep at it because it's such a successful strategy.
It's incredibly powerful, and I think, as you both have already said, the connection between the mind and the body is something we don't talk enough about. So this work is so incredibly important. And what would you say? What do you want to see the future of mental health look like with your work?
Well, we're hoping that we and other people who will learn from us will be able to not only address these particular disorders that we targeted, but use a similar strategy and develop better treatments for other disorders as well. I think there's also a lot of learning still to do about the best way of training therapists. And for instance, with our internet treatment, we have found that the people we trained in delivering the internet treatments said that they had a deeper understanding of the theoretical work that is behind the model and also how best to apply it to their individual patients, because a lot of it is in making it really tailored to each individual patient. And also, I think another point would be that the work we're doing hopefully will help taking some of the stigma out of mental health, which is still the case across the globe. I think that some people don't seek treatment because they think it will reflect badly on them and they don't speak up. And having these very effective treatment that in a relatively short time can give you your life back is, I think, hopefully a message of hope to everybody.
This is truly transformational work, and I want to thank you both so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank our winners of the Mohammed bin Rashid Knowledge Award for 2024. Thank you all so much. Incredible work. Thank you.